morally you would say, no, I'm not going to take this money.
Morally,
you would say, no, I'm not going to take this money.
But you have to.
At the same breath.
Oh, we should have started with this topic right out of the gate. This would have been perfect.
Yeah. I already did.
Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect.
I already did.
Morally, I would not take the money. But morals is not in this, number one. Number two, we're 3 black dudes asking about this. So a white dude would be like, hell yeah, if it's going to be
profitable.
I mean, a white dude might. A white dude might.
I'm talking about some mofos like I said, this us. Not white folks, just some regular mofos like us.
No.
Are you gonna take that? Are you gonna take that money to keep niggas behind bars, not knowing? Hey, half of them could be guilty, half of them could be innocent. You know what the fuck going behind there.
We pay taxes to do that now.
But I heard it's more in private prisons.
We pay taxes to do that now.
That's
right?
Garbage.
We pay taxes to do that. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
We morally say and we morally allow for our congressmen and the government to justify the laws that we know.
And where did they get that from?
Where did they get it from?
Yeah, what you just said.
Laws.
It's all man-made laws.
I know, but where did those man-made laws come from? Where did they get
greed?
Oh, it all came from greed.
Okay, I got it from greed, but is there a written law or a written statement?
You add these things to the case in point. We have the Constitution, the Bill of Rights.
Hear
me out. Constitution, Bill of Rights.
The Constitution and Bill of Rights
was written by a white supremacist society. Yes, I said it.
No, there's nothing wrong with you saying that because
I said it.
I try to get people to understand,
yes,
Phil,
I said
it. That the Constitution, it wasn't written for us.
No, it wasn't.
How can you be ignorant to the fact? We weren't running around.
It wasn't written for them. Agreed. I agree with that.
Listen.
That's a true story.
So having said that, all this voting shit is fucking null void anyway. Go ahead.
It was written.
Excuse me. It was written.
Did we benefit from the writing?
No.
In some cases, we have.
And none.
Some cases, we have benefited.
It's a class system now, so depending upon which class you are on anything, you might benefit.
So
somebody benefited.
So we benefited. Is the benefit more than the pain?
I still say we are so fucked up as people and shit. Yes. That's just my opinion.
However, I'm sorry, Phil. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, I mean, I'm good. I'm good.
And I say that, yes, we are messed up. But to an extent, is that by choice?
And see, that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about, that DNA.
Once again, so if that is a DNA deoxyribonucleic acidic thing, just like you have straight hair, brown hair, blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, whatever, you're saying that also is a part of the mapping. And how come it's just us when there are plenty of other people who procrastinate? So regardless of shade,
but you know what? Aside from maybe Latinos,
I see some lazy brown folks.
I understand that, but aside from Latinos, okay, and African Americans and everything, we're the only ones called lazy. You know, they don't call that to the Asiatic people.
Okay, so
they don't call themselves lazy.
But check this out. They don't
call the Filipinos lazy.
We were also called illiterate.
That's true. Yeah.
So understand why we called illiterate, because we couldn't read and write the English language. So why are we lazy? Because we didn't perform those duties
to someone else's.
So don't judge us or talk to us like that and everything when that's not even our own.
But when was the last time I saw I called me, you, or Phil lazy?
Physically to their face, nobody.
Okay. So to an extent, if we're procrastinators, that's a choice that we take on to say, I really don't feel like doing this today.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait. Give me 5 more minutes.
But is that procrastinating? Is it because I wait till the 11th hour? Is that procrastination?
Is it?
You did it last week. I wait till the day and it's due tomorrow.
Hey,
Is
look.
that
Hey, look.
procrastination?
Okay, look.
Let's define that before
Okay,
we
right
even
now.
say
Okay.
whether it is or ain't.
I'm responsible, and I'm gonna pay my bills and take care of that. But it might be until like that last month, that last day.
Did it get did?
But
Was it done?
Yeah, of
Let me
course
ask a
it gets done though.
No, then-
but it gets done.
However, does it affect if that case in point, if you write a physical check and you put it in the mail and you do it 2 days before the due date, you are now hoping for all other factors to come together
Yeah.
that you're on point. So you've now procrastinated because now it's no longer in your hands
Well, you
for
procrastinate.
success.
You
But then
procrastinate
again,
by using a check.
But
Don't
then
use
again,
a check.
yeah,
Fool.
yeah,
Use
yeah.
a debit card.
But then again, you know what? If I get I get paid at the end of every month, in the last day of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, whoever get paid, they gonna stand in line, and I'm gonna be like, here go yours, here go yours, here go yours, here go yours. When I get paid at the last day of the month, so is that procrastination if I get paid on the 31st and the bill is due the 28th?
That's circumstance in that particular
It's by
case.
default.
That's circumstance.
I like that. I like that.
That's
That's
circumstance.
by default. I like that.
You
No,
know.
but that's
But
I got my water bill. You know what I'm saying? It was like past due amount is due the 28th. I'm like calendar. Shit, I get paid the 31st and shit. I was like, maybe I need to go down there and talk to him and anything. Like,
see, you take your bit and see that's the difference. Those who procrastinate don't excuse me, don't take decisive action to correct.
Yeah. Decisive action as black
Don't
people.
take
We must
deci-
take it.
We don't. We
Especially black men.
as a group don't take decisive action. So now you brought out the water bill. If you know you get paid on the 31st, and you know that bill comes every month on the 28th, you know you won't have the money to pay them. You can do one of two things. One, pay it early. God forbid you'll actually pay your bills early. God forbid. Or you'll go down and you'll make an arrangement. Can I pay it on the 31st because this is the day I get paid?
But
Either
see-
way,
but see-
you're making it. You're doing something.
I feel as if as long as that bill gets paid, when I get paid, the last day of the month, but when I was younger, there have been times and everything, and I fucked around and shit.
Man, like F that bill. I ain't paying that bill.
Yeah.
That's procrastination.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
procrastination.
I guess as you get older and everything, because we talked about our age and everything.
You F that bill, and that bill comes back and bites you in the left butt cheek.
It's gonna bite you in the it's gonna come back and bite you.
I agree with both of y'all. Yeah, it is procrastination.
You know,
It
it
to
has
bite
to
you.
be an action that's, decisive. About that. And, going back to our original topic, what were we talking about a minute ago? Because I laughed at you talking about, Donald Trump for the win. And that.
Okay. Me and my man Ann here, we both agreed. A lot of people probably gonna get upset with us. I didn't ask you this question and anything, Phil, but I asked him the question, and rather, were presidents elected or selected? We both came up with the word selected. How do you feel?
Presidents are selected. No
Okay,
doubt.
so if they're selected, one must say, why do you go ahead through this whole fake democratic democracy and elect a president?
You want the short answer or the long answer?
I like your answers. Give me your short answer, yo.
The short answer, it makes people feel better. Makes people feel involved. Because if this were a true democratic process, the Electoral College would have no place.
It would be the what?
Popular vote.
Exactly. Okay, we got that out the way. Now,
There would be no need for X amount of delegates in this state and X amount of delegates in that state. There'd be no need for that.
They tell us that when we were like in elementary school. I remember it a little bit, but I think a lot of people that needs to be rehashed. It really does. Because what you're doing is you're putting a man in charge of giving that vote by saying, hey, listen, vote for me. I'm going to make sure I vote for him for president, policies.
Both of y'all answered the question, but you have to explain why you feel it's selected. Why do you feel it's selected?
Bear with me a second. I'm going to look up a statistic. Bear with me. Yes.
I don't know if you can verify this or if you've heard of this before.
Mm-hmm.
I heard all the presidents are related.
No. Stop.
Yeah. I mean,
The bloodline.
The bloodline
is situation.
The bloodline, yeah. The bloodline is the bloodline. Yeah, you're right. So.
I mean, even some of the candidates.
Hey, man. For somebody, I think, I'm not trying to say all white people are evil or anything like that and everything, but I do think that there's a machine going. And for somebody to always want to keep that machine well oiled, I don't dispute it, man. I'm not a big conspiracist person or anything like that. But when you and I talking anything,
I will give you the short answer in terms of the fraudulence. 2000 presidential election. We know George W. Bush.
He stole that shit.
Well, wait now. Was it stolen, or was the democratic process suspect?
Ladron.
Because the popular vote was in favor of Al Gore. 50,999,897 for 48.4% of the vote. George W. Bush received 50,456,002 for 47.9% of the vote. I'm no genius. I've been out of school a very long time. But 48.4% is more than 47.9%.
So Gore was there to occupy votes. So why do you
Where Al Gore now? Where Al Gore now, man?
He's chilling. He's a trillionaire chilling.
You talking about
that broke his little heart, man.
No, why? So why it break his heart? He got millions off of that.
He won the popular vote.
Yeah.
However, the Electoral College said
no.
George W. Bush won with 271 votes to 266.
And when did they say that?
That was close, man. That was close.
Nah, that year, that shit was.
That was the voter fraud year in 2000 in Florida.
Yeah, that shit was called early.
So
that shit was called, and then they said, "Nah, we fucked up some shit down in Florida." Nah.
So when it comes to selection versus election, I've already that's just one. I didn't do 2004.
But why do you feel it's selected? Why do you feel the president is selected?
Personally, and we've had this conversation, I firmly believe that there is a group of world elite, and the world elite dictates what goes on in the world. And in order to carry forth the agenda of said world elite, you would need individuals in place to carry out the agenda. So since that's the case, or that's how I feel in my opinion, the world elite would have a hand in selecting individuals that would be more apt to carry out the world elite's agenda.
So they were selected when? At birth? At 19?
See, then that's going to take us till the Bilderberg Group meetings. If you believe in the conspiracy, as individuals are called a conspiracy theorist.
That's a serious conversation.
That's a serious conversation. That
should be a whole nother topic.
That is a whole other topic. If you believe in that.
Right. Then that's your basis behind selection.
Is it likely? Because if you think about it, there's no radical difference in quote-unquote regimes. So how much different is the Republican regime to the Democratic regime?
So they're selected to run a country.
Carry out an agenda. I wouldn't even say run a country.
That's a very good point right there.
Carry out an agenda.
Carry out an agenda.
Yes, they are.
This is across the board.
But just here. But what is it? Okay. Well, hey, listen.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, then we've got 30 seconds. We've got 30 seconds to go. Are we going to extend this to a half hour? Because that's a good conversation.
We have some great dialogue.
Production in.
I don't know. I can run with it for another 15 minutes. I can run with
It's up to you. You guys want to run with it?
I could do my Ben Johnson.
Okay, let's get the conversation. Now, the world elite, if you believe that there is a world elite,
if you put it there,
if you believe it, I'm not saying, personally, my personal opinion.
I believe it.
Believe it. If you believe it, it's playing both sides of the fence. But if I can get you on one side and you on the other side to cooperate, my agenda gets met either way.
See,
agenda gets met either way.
Today I was talking to somebody and they said, "Why is war so important?" I said, "Because if I'm funding you and I'm funding you, I get paid regardless.
Yeah, it's revenue.
What profit?
It generates revenue.
I get paid.
Yeah.
So if I get paid regardless, I want you kicking his gas as much as possible.
And I'll give you an example. I would love to pull up the 2008 when the stock market crashed. Every business didn't go down.
Mm-mm.
I would venture to say
Mm-mm.
defense and pharmaceuticals were either at or higher.
Was this
at their regular numbers?
Was this when America was at war, or?
No,
well, the war, quote unquote, was over.
Okay.
But there were soldiers and troops still on the ground abroad. So war being over means troops come home.
Troops are supposed to.
Once again, I never fought in a war. I can't say, but war is over. Troops come home. Why are troops still deployed? Don't really know.
Unless you got that black herpes, you can't come home.
Come on, man. That stuff. Come on. The government has been known.
That's true, yo. You know that's true, Ant.
The government has been known to use biological.
Yeah, you know that's true,
weapons.
right?
We tested, and we had this conversation.
They can't come back on U.S. soil.
Yeah, because then you'd mess up the experiment. Why would you do that?
You would mess up the
experiment. Why would you do that? You pollute the experiment. That's why you do that. But I firmly believe they are selected and being selected to carry out an agenda. And depending on what the agenda is at the time, you need the right face.
What do you think the agenda is right now?
Right now, things are back up. In terms of gas is down, all of a sudden.
That's going to change as soon as Obama leaves. It's going to go back up.
Maybe not.
Gas is down because it's not holiday season. It's
not holiday season.
I firmly think Obama being in administration and everything was just to get us kind of like settled into a particular state.
For all his good, and he's done some good things.
What's the best thing he did?
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think Obamacare, if better thought out, was a good thing. If better thought out.
But so you saying because my mama didn't like that shit.
Many didn't. That's why I said I gave the caveat.
If my mama got into it, she's like, no,
I gave out the caveat.
Yeah.
If better thought out.
Yeah.
They say, well, employment, unemployment is down. That's a sketchy statistic. Simply because if you're off the unemployment numbers.
Hey, where you live, man?
I live in Apex.
See, unemployment to some people is also being self-employed because I'm not paying FICA properly.
But what about the dudes that we see every day walking on the street that we know they're not employed? We still see that every day.
Every day.
We still see that every day.
But
the numbers
will tell you that he doesn't exist.
The numbers is exaggerated.
That's why I said employment is based on what? Unemployment. Is it based on individuals collecting unemployment insurance? Is that what we're calculating as percentage? Or the people that ran out of unemployment insurance?
Like you said earlier, we should just go ahead and create our own religion and
I told you, don't take
the numbers and everything.
I told you, don't take. I told you, we're gonna discuss that too once. How to create your own fake religion, because that's a whole other money making scheme. But we'll talk about that too. But going back to our topic, staying on the topic in terms of selection versus election.
And are you independent?
I try to be politically neutral.
You're independent.
I can't even say I'm independent, and the reason why I say that because my political neutrality allows me to step back and I try to be as objective as I can. There are certain things that some people can say out of a particular party that makes sense. And there are some that they say You know, so like Chris Rock said, you know, I'm conservative about some things, I'm some liberal on some other things.
Yeah.
So I kind of come down the middle with a lot of things. So
yeah.
that's how I try to be. You know, I can't say, well, I'm just gonna vote Democrat because I'm a Democrat and I'm this, or I'm a Republican. But you didn't hear that person's, you know, where do they stand? Where do they stand on their policy? So I can't toe a party line because I may not agree with policy. So if I'm a Democrat and I feel the Democratic policy at the time isn't beneficial to me or my cause,
so you just rolling with the best individuals.
I'm not rolling. I don't roll with any. Once again, because going back to election or selection.
Well, see,
it's not for me.
Well, see, that's like
it's not for me.
See, I think it's. I think it's phony anyway, but
once again, so this whole upset.
If you know,
why are you so upset?
It's like the lesser of two evils.
But it's all selected. So once again, we're having this discussion.
That's why
about who are you riding with?
Because
it's all phony.
It's always been a wives' tale that the Democrats always help out the brothers.
That's not true.
I know that.
None of it.
I know that. But that's the wives' tale. That's how you know the yin, the yin and the yang.
Yes.
Democratic Republican.
No, that's like my man Jesse Ventura. He's a funny guy. I don't agree with all the stuff he says, but he says some stuff that's pretty funny. He had a book, Republicans and.
You talking about the Navy? You talking about the Navy SEAL?
Yes.
Okay.
That was on steroids as a wrestler. You know, he made some very valid points, but he has this book about party lines and how. Similar to Bloods and Crips, respect to those organizations.
And it's funny how they choose the colors, blue and red. That's kind of weird.
And they divide it that way. But he made a very good point about politicians. He said in one documentary, on TV they hate each other, like wrestlers. The heels don't like the faces and vice versa. But when the cameras go off, they all go out to dinner together. We're the ones as people. If you saw what happened in Fayetteville last night at Donald Trump's rally, are punching people in the face left and right.
Really?
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that.
We will talk about that next week. This man punched this kid in his face last night, walking up the steps.
Black kid walking up the steps.
He punched some white dude?
No, white dude punched him in the face. Old white man punched him right in the face.
A black dude?
Punched a black kid right in the face. Cops jumped on him with the quick. See? Hold on, another day.
Cops jumped on the black dude.
Yes. What? Yes. Hold on. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. We're going to talk about that next show. Don't spoil that, because that's hilarious.
That's how he wants it to be in the future if he was elected president, but I don't know.
It makes you think about the movies. So you go back to Gods in Egypt. I told my son, like...
Yeah, that was phony. It was fake.
Well, he said, I want to see it. I said, no, you don't. He says, why?
Because there ain't no white people. Oh, sorry. My fault.
You know what?
Sorry.
I said,
the guys in Egypt look like you.
I said, nobody looks like you. I said, look at the
like
dude.
Like your dad.
Because they were like, they said, look at Moses. I was like, look at, is that? He said, no. It's just real. But what's wild is.
I heard that movie bombed big time.
But what's wild is, we the same people that watch 10 Commandments.
No, I'm not watching that.
I've watched 10 Commandments.
We talked about that last show.
I don't watch that.
10 Commandments, Ben-Hur.
I'm not watching that.
I watched both of those.
I'm not watching that.
Sorry. I watched both of those.
Sorry.
We always grew up to watch that show and everything.
So, like every Easter, it was 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
And whatever religious show, whatever it was, that was that. Yeah. But if you believe that the Bible is God's word, that's another show.
Yes. That's a big show right there.
Another show. And then you sit there and read what Hollywood has portrayed. Why am I going to sit here and pay money
the worst movie,
for the lie?
The worst movie was...
Noah? That was nonsense, I heard. That was bold-faced lies.
Well, all of them flies and everything. If they didn't have people who feel your complexion.
The one Mel Gibson did.
Passion of the Christ?
Garbage.
I wouldn't watch that.
There was straight European people all up in there.
But here's why it's garbage.
I wouldn't watch that. Why would I watch that?
We paying to see a man get beat. Whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
Another show.
No.
Whether it's true or not, this man is getting beat. And you paying to see a man get beat up.
So how sadistic are you? But you know
how
what though?
crazy are you
But
to
you know
watch
what
a
though?
man get beat
I'm
up?
gonna go ahead and call it out right here, right now. About to call it out right here, right now. Based on that, then people shouldn't watch the NFL.
See, I've had a couple tell me.
If we gonna go there,
no, man,
I've had a couple tell me say that was the most dramatic thing that's ever happened in their life was watching Passion of the Christ.
She's stupid. And I'm
if we gonna go there,
I'm just saying shit, y'all.
If we gonna go there,
look, I want to get some documentation because I really honestly believe that over a period of time, if an individual endures something, that's just gonna like lead on. It's just gonna be within them. I'm gonna do some research.
Well, I mean, that's like a horse being tied to a chair, and the horse is thinking, "I can't move because of the chair. He's tied to the chair." But in reality, he can drag that chair across.
What if I told you that like Bo Jackson and everything? Mm-hmm. His great granddad was a slave.
Highly likely, based on where he's from,
based on his last name,
and also based upon the athleticism that he has and everything.
I see. I had this conversation with a friend of mine.
You can't go there
in terms of
can't go there.
Black athlete versus white athlete.
You can't say he's athletic because he's a slave. Because we
no. I'm not. I said his great granddad. I'm talking the lineage.
So based on his lineage,
well, we were athletic prior to slavery.
Yes,
so I'm saying, so if you go there, if you put it prior to, I agree. But if you base all of our running and jumping and skills off of that right there, I'm gonna have to say no.
But there's others.
They were surprised that we could do it. That was the surprise. But we could run that fast.
But why was it a surprise? Because we weren't involved in doing it.
After the black man invented hockey.
You know what I'm saying? It's very different.
Black man invented the ballpoint pen.
We can do that all day long. You know, Jesse Owens, you know, deep segregation in 1936 Olympics, you know, blew out the rest of
you talking about
competition.
The race movie. You talking about the race movie.
You know, I'm talking about beyond that. Well, you know, that's the movie, that's documenting it. But in truth, we were in a society before Jackie Robinson, you know, where Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige, in terms of baseball ability.
That's terrible, man, how they treated them brothers.
You know, so you can't, there was no TV, so those things were not seen.
No.
So to say, they can't do that, and then when you finally see it on world display, then it's like, oh my goodness, they can do this? You know, so that's not necessarily a fair statement either. You know, there's some amazing white athletes, absolutely.
Yes.
You know, so to say, and they weren't slaves either, but they're hell of an athlete.
It ain't even about
white or black. Yeah,
it's about fast or slow.
That's it. Fast or slow.
You know, Larry Bird was a bad motherfucker.
Yes.
Larry Bird was nice.
I'm going to say something about Larry Bird right now. That's going to upset the younger generation. Larry Bird was better than LeBron James.
Wow.
I said that. Call me what you want. I don't really care.
No.
But I can back up my statement.
We can talk about these things.
We may have to go on another 15 minutes.
We can do that. Wow.
I said it. Larry Bird was a better small forward than LeBron James.
Was he a better power forward?
See, Larry played the 3.
But he played 3 and 4 though. He played the 4-2. He played the 4-2.
But that was towards the end. You know, towards the end. But I'm going with the prime of his career.
Okay.
Let's start. Let me give you some quick numbers. We got a minute and some change.
Just leave it at small forward.
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Averaged a double-double for his career.
Okay.
Larry Bird could not run. Larry Bird could not jump.
I think he dunked once.
Yeah, I remember the game.
But he averaged 10 rebounds for his career.
He was a smart ball player.
In a league where your big men were not stretch fours, that's nonsense. That was because guys got lazy and didn't want to learn post moves. Another conversation.
Larry Nance, Otis Thorpe, for
Oscar Robertson had a point.
The big fours, you know, that were in the paint, and he's battling with dudes in the tree, jumping with the trees,
Yeah.
but he couldn't jump, but gave you 10 boards for his whole career and 20 points.
Yeah.
LeBron James is the biggest, strongest, fastest, and I've yet to see him be a defensive player of the year. I've yet to see him average 10 boards for his career.
They're gonna give it to him eventually. Though.
10 boards and 10 assists is ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous why he's not triple doubling every night.
As the biggest, strongest, fastest, I think we're gonna have to go on for it. We're gonna take this for another 5 minutes. Biggest, strongest, fastest, but you are not dominating consistently for your career. Larry Bird gave you 20 and 10 for his career with limited ability.
Yeah, it's crazy that
LeBron with limited ability.
It's crazy LeBron.
That's what I mean by that statement.
Yo, and real fast, man. You like Kyrie Irving?
I have issues with Kyrie Irving.
You were like,
I have issues with Kyrie Irving.
When you were the GM, if you were the GM, would you pay him like that max contract money for Kyrie Irving? You know he only gonna pay like
You're
75.
forced to pay it.
So you
who
would do
are you
it.
going to get to replace it?
So you would roll the dice and try to bring somebody else in, and you would do it then. Would you do it, Phil?
What I personally, okay.
But I both said Kyrie Irving. You were like, You pause a second. Well,
personally, here's the thing. One, who am I going to get to replace Kyrie? And I thought they did this in Miami, and it was genius. You move LeBron to the 1.
The 1-4.
In terms of make him the point forward. So now he can get everybody involved.
Yeah.
Move Kyrie off the ball. Now his primary focus, don't worry about getting everybody else involved, because I think he only averages like 3 or 4 assists a game.
But LeBron, I can't stand the Cavs. Fuck him anyway. Man. I don't like Kyrie Irving and everything, to be honest with you, Nate.
I get that. I'm not a Duke fan, so
I can't stand
Duke Cats.
Same
man.
So you like Carolina, don't you?
I'm a Carolina guy.
I'm a Duke guy.
I'm a Carolina guy. See, I don't like private schools. I'm not going to cheer for private schools.
First off, Kyrie Irving was good in the black system. All right. Tyronn Lue, he's not seeing eye to eye with Kyrie.
It sounds like he want to leave. He want to trade or something like that.
Would I pay Kyrie the money? As Ant said, yes, I would. But by default.
And I'm gonna throw something at you guys also.
I wouldn't have paid that.
Kyrie was put in a bad situation, and nobody talks about it.
No.
David Blatt was put in the same bad situation
both of them.
that nobody talks about. Those two guys were going to be centerpieces on a rebuilding franchise. Not a team that had title aspirations year 1.
Do you think... year
1.
Why don't you like the Cavs?
I'm not a Cavs
because
fan.
And everything. I grew up a Philadelphia 76ers fan, Dr. J, that era.
Right.
I got a chance to go see him at his Dr. J at his retirement parade. I was maybe 10 feet away from the man and everything. At that point, I also realized Charles Barkley was only 6'4", and that was it.
Yeah, Charles Barkley is short.
He's
Another
only
one,
6'4".
Underrated because of look at what he did for his career.
Yeah.
But he was undersized.
Yeah.
And in poor shape.
Yeah. The round mound of rebound.
So if he was in great shape
he was only
and
6'4",
taller, what would he have done?
If he was in great shape.
For his size,
what would he have been?
For his size, the position that he played, he was dominant.
You know who reminds me of him now, but he's actually in better shape? Draymond Green. He does look at Charles in those Phoenix
let's go back.
days.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna ask you. Okay, Cleveland. This is why I don't like Cleveland. I was born in Detroit.
So you can't stand the Bulls either.
No, I don't. Detroit is next to Cleveland, so I cannot like those teams. But I grew up a Philadelphia 76ers fan. You know, after Doc retired, then they traded, Barkley. I just kind of like went back to the roots and everything, to the Pistons. I could never root for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's old school.
I'm a Cowboy fan. I'll never root for the Carolina Panthers because they beat us in the playoffs that year. Remember that?
I remember that.
I'm
a Cowboy fan.
How is it? Yeah.
How am I a Cowboy fan?
But not. I'm a cow.
My Cowboy fandom is easy to explain. Nobody likes to hear it, but it's easy to explain. My Cowboy fandom stems from when I was a kid. My older cousin got me into watching football.
What year was this?
This is in, I want to say, 87.
Okay.
88. So I was 8 or 9 years old. He watched, because he was a big fan of the University of Miami, the U. Michael Irvin played for the U. Exactly. I'm not a Miami fan, but
it's all about the U, baby.
Jimmy Johnson coached at the U. So as a kid, looking at faces and looking at familiarity, they were familiar to me.
Exactly.
Versus the Giants. Only time I heard about Lawrence Taylor was things he was doing crazy on the news.
See, look, real fast, because of our age, we moved out here from Detroit. So when I was like 7, maybe 9 years old and really started to watch football, like go outside and pretend we were the players and everything, in this geographic area, the only game in town was the Redskins, and they always showed the Redskins against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys always won. So I just gravitated toward the Cowboys.
The former owner of the Cowboys was very smart.
Tex Ram?
Yes. What he did is he got them to play in the NFC East, which gave them 3 primetime media markets. And this is how people complain, how are the Cowboys America's team? Very simple, I'm about to explain it. They played in Philly, big media market, New York, biggest media market, Washington, D.C., big media market.
But then back then, don't forget, back then they also played in St. Louis because it was the St. Louis Cardinals. They were in the NFC East.
They were in the NFC East.
But that was a long time ago.
But what happened, they were the national attraction.
Yeah.
There wasn't all the TV we have today.
That's a good point.
So they became America's team because they were shown all across America.
Yeah.
That's how they became America's team. The Cowboys didn't name themselves that, contrary to people's hateration popular belief. They were named that because they were named that by the head of NFL Films. They were named that because of the availability to the media markets by playing in the NFC East. So it was a business decision. It had nothing to do with, they're not even in the Eastern time slot.
No.
They did it for business reasons and they just kind of got grandfathered in. That's basically it. So that's why they're America's team. It's not the Patriots. Sorry.
It sounds like the move Louisville made when they joined the ACC.
ACC.
Wow.
And to really upset you guys, I'm a Cowboy fan and I'm going to prove something to you. Guess what happens? You tune in to watch them either win or lose. You out there in TV land.
Cowboys for life, baby. And that goes for Frenchie. That goes to Deb too.
You account for the media watching
you
them.
too, Gina G.
Because I'm not a St. Louis Rams fan. I don't watch them on TV.
Listen, we're about to bounce and everything, but Phil, I got something for you, man. You remember that, yo?
Let's ride out to this, gentlemen. This was fun. I enjoyed this. Just off the cuff, just spitting views and viewpoints and thoughts. That's all we do out here. Enjoy.
The Advo Cats. This is a very special edition. The first, but not the last. I'm out.
Enjoy.
This is